Good morning, neighbors. It's good to be back. This is a song about the hills in our life. Lord, I don't want to do one thing on my own. Put me where you want me, Lord. That's where I belong. And give me the strength, Lord, to do thy perfect will. So when I'm in the lowest valley, I can climb the highest hill. And Lord, I want to be what you'd want me to be. Lord, I want to do the things you'd want me to do. Lord, help me stay in the center of thy will. So when I'm in the lowest valley, I can climb the highest hill. Now this world gets more wicked every day. People's hearts are growing cold, forgotten how to pray. But if I live to be 100, I'll keep holding to your hand until you come and take me home to that promised land. And Lord, I want to be what you'd want me to be. And Lord, I want to do the things you'd want me to do. And Lord, help me stay in the center of thy will. So when I'm in the lowest valley, I can climb the highest hill. So when I'm in the lowest valley, I can climb the highest hill. And I believe that's what we all want. That in the midst of trials, in the midst of tribulations, the hill of difficulty, we can climb the highest hill. That we can keep on climbing, that we won't give up. One of my favorite books is the John Bunyan, very famous classic Pilgrim's Progress. And there's a scene where a Christian, he's on this journey to the heavenly city. It's called the celestial city in the book. But he reaches this hill. And along the way, he had his certain directions. You must go through this area. You must go through this. You must stay on the path. And sometimes he would get off, but he'd come back when he was corrected. There's two men that climbed over the wall. Their names were Formalist and Hypocrisy. It's really this religious idea. It's like, well, I said this, I did that. I should be allowed to get in. It's really, that's a hypocritical type of thinking. It's really there's only one way. You're not going to be able to cheat it. And it's not just a head knowledge. It has to be something within the heart. And but they get on the way, and of course he's not going to kick them off the path. But he said, really, you're coming in like thieves and robbers. You climbed over the wall rather than go through the gate. But when they get to the hill of difficulty, he realizes the path, it goes up. But the religious-minded formalist and hypocrisy, they just said, forget this. we'll go around the base of this hill, and they are destroyed along the way. They get lost and they fall in the darkness. And there's a part of the hill of difficulty that's very difficult for Christian, and he has to get on his belly and kind of crawl up some, and he even meets dangers on this hill. But when we sing this song, we realize when I sing it, at least I think, if as long as I'm in the center of His will, He will help me and give me the strength to overcome this difficulty, even though it may take me to the very furthest reaches of my strength. And in Isaiah chapter 40, to kind of give us some encouragement in their difficult times, if I can turn this page, Isaiah 40 and verse 6, the voice said, "Cry out." And he said, "What shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all its loveliness is like the flower of the field. The grass withers, the flower fades, because the breath of the Lord blows upon it. Surely the people are grass. The grass withers, the flower fades, but the word of our God stands forever. O Zion, you who bring good tidings, get up into the high mountain. O Jerusalem, you who bring good tidings, lift up your voice with strength. Lift it up, be not afraid. Say to the cities of Judah, Behold, your God. Behold, the Lord God shall come with a strong hand, and his arm shall rule for him. Behold, his reward is with him. This is talking about the greatness of God and man's insignificance. Man is like a grass. We're here we're made out of dust and ash, and then we go back, and we are just become as dirt and grass, and we wither. For a time in our youth, the flower is beautiful in the strength of our youth, but the flower fades. And these things, we see the seasons. We know how these things go. And but then it begins to tell us, but be happy. Speak good tidings, because the Lord your God, he is a strong God, and he shall come with a strong hand, and his arm shall rule for him, and his reward is with him, and his work before him. He's doing a work. He will feed his flock like a shepherd. He will gather the lambs with his arm, and carry them in his bosom, and gently lead those who are with young. Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, measured heaven with a span, and calculated the dust of the earth in a measure, weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance? Who has directed the Spirit of the Lord, or as his counselor has taught him? Who has done these things? Who counsels God? Maybe you should do it like this. Maybe you should create things like this. He holds the waters in his hands, all the oceans and all the creation. It's all in his hand. Who has directed the Spirit of the Lord, or as his counselor has taught him? Who can teach God anything? His ways are so far beyond ours. With whom did he take counsel, and who instructed him and taught him in the path of justice? Who taught? We get this idea of we know what justice is, we know what right or wrong is, but who's taught God what justice is? He is just in all his ways. Who taught him knowledge and showed him the way of understanding? Who showed him these things? Behold, the nations are as a drop in a bucket, and are counted as the small dust on the scales. Look, he lifts up the isles as a very little thing. He lifts up his islands. Look at Hawaii. It came out of volcanic lava, and it's like a paradise. Who did this? God did this. He does this. And people say, oh, it's nature. But who created nature? God created nature. He created this cycle. Who has done all these things? And yet we go back to the very beginning. It says, and you're just like grass. You're like a flower. A flower seems so fragile in the wind, just blows with the wind, and the petals and all these things, and it just fades away after a time. And we will spend so much time and effort and money trying to get flowers to grow or get plants to grow, and yet God, to him, is just a small thing to do all creation. And I like that. Again, the nations are as a drop in a bucket, and they're just like dust. He lifts up the island, all this creation. He did this. Hawaii, like I said, in the middle of the ocean, and we're just like grass. But then it begins with, you're just like grass. And then we'll end with this in the same chapter in verse 28. Have you not known? Have you not heard? The everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, neither faints nor is weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the weak, and to those who have no might he increases strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. He's given it. He again. It's a cycle. It's a whole full cycle. He begins this chapter with, "You are like grass. Your grass here and it withers away." But if you can trust in the Lord, who has created all these things, He will give you new strength. You will run and not be weary, and shall walk and not faint. So this day, whatever we go through, if it's a hill of difficulty type of day, know this: He will give you the strength to go on and to keep on standing for His truth. But you have to trust in Him. So let us trust in the Lord today. And God bless you. And like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And hope to see you again.